Day 45, Egypt and Exodus, Exodus 29, Leviticus 21, Psalm 118 verses 121 through 176. Let's begin. Exodus 29. But you shall also do this, so that they may be consecrated to me in the priesthood. Take a calf from the herd, and 2 immaculate rams, and unleavened bread, and a crust without leaven that has been sprinkled with oil, likewise, unleavened cakes smeared with oil. You shall make them all from the same wheat flour. And having placed them in baskets, you shall offer them, along with the calf and the 2 rams. And you shall bring forward Aaron and his sons, to the door of the tabernacle of the testimony. And when you will have washed the father with his sons in water, you shall clothe Aaron in his vestments, that is, with the linen, and the tunic, and the ephod, and the breastplate, which you shall draw together with the wide belt. And you shall place the headdress on his head, and the holy plate upon the headdress. And you shall pour the oil of unction over his head. And so, by this rite, he shall be consecrated. Likewise, you shall bring forward his sons, and you shall clothe them in the linen tunics, and wrap them with the wide belt. Aaron, certainly, as well as his sons. And you shall impose headdresses upon them. And they shall be priests to me by a perpetual ordinance, after you have initiated their hands. You shall bring forward also the calf, in the presence of the tabernacle of the testimony. And Aaron and his sons shall lay their hands upon its head. And you shall sacrifice it in the sight of the Lord, beside the door of the tabernacle of the testimony. And taking some of the blood of the calf, you shall place it upon the horns of the altar with your finger, but the remainder of the blood you shall pour next to its base. And you shall take all the fat which covers its intestines, and the mesh of the liver, as well as the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them, and you shall offer them as a burnt offering upon the altar. Yet truly, the flesh of the calf, and the hide and the dung, you shall burn outside, beyond the camp, because it is for sin. Likewise, you shall take 1 ram, and upon its head Aaron and his sons shall lay their hands. And when you will have sacrificed it, you shall take from its blood and pour it around the altar. Then you shall cut the ram into pieces, and having washed its intestines and feet, you shall place these upon the cut-up flesh and upon its head. And you shall offer the entire ram as a burnt offering upon the altar. It is an oblation to the Lord, a most sweet odor of the victim of the Lord. Likewise, you shall take the other ram, upon whose head Aaron and his sons shall lay their hands. And when you will have immolated it, you shall take of its blood, and place it on the tip of the right ear of Aaron and his sons, and on the thumbs and big toes of their right hand and right foot, and you shall pour the blood upon the altar, all around. And when you have taken from the blood that is on the altar, and from the oil of unction, you shall sprinkle Aaron and his vestment, his sons and their vestments. And after they and their vestments have been consecrated, you shall take the fat of the ram, and the rump, and the lard that covers the internal organs, and the mesh of the liver, and the 2 kidneys along with the fat that is on them, and the right shoulder, because it is the ram of consecration. And 1 turn of bread, a crust sprinkled with oil, and a cake from the basket of unleavened bread, which was placed in the sight of the Lord. And you shall place all these in the hands of Aaron and his sons, and you shall sanctify them, lifting them up in the sight of the Lord. And you shall take all these things from their hands and burn them upon the altar as a holocaust, as a most sweet odor in the sight of the Lord, because it is his oblation. Likewise, you shall take the chest of the ram, with which Aaron was initiated, and you shall sanctify it, lifting it up in the sight of the Lord, and it will fall to your share. And you shall sanctify both the consecrated chest and the shoulder that you separated from the ram, with which Aaron was initiated with his sons, and these will fall to the share of Aaron and his sons, as a perpetual oath by the sons of Israel. For these are the greatest and the first of their victims of peace, which they offered to the Lord. But the holy vestment, which Aaron shall use, his sons shall possess after him, so that they may be anointed in it, and their hands may be consecrated. For 7 days he who is high priest in his place, and who enters the tabernacle of the testimony to minister in the sanctuary shall use it. But you shall take the ram of consecration, and cook its flesh in the holy place. And Aaron and his sons shall feed on it. Likewise, the loaves which are in the basket, they shall consume in the vestibule of the tabernacle of the testimony, so that it may be an appeasing sacrifice, and so that the hands of those who offer may be sanctified. A stranger shall not eat from these, for they are holy. And what may remain until morning, of the consecrated flesh or of the bread, you shall burn these remnants with fire. These shall not be eaten, because they have been sanctified. All that I have instructed you concerning Aaron and his sons you shall do. For 7 days shall you consecrate their hands. And you shall offer a calf for sin on each day, as an atonement. And you shall cleanse the altar when you will have immolated the victim of expiation, and you shall anoint it for sanctification. For 7 days you shall expiate and sanctify the altar, and it shall be the Holy of Holies. All those who will touch it must be sanctified. This is what you shall acquire for the altar, 2 one-year-old lambs, each day continually. 1 lamb in the morning, and the other in the evening. For the 1 lamb, 1/10 part of fine flour sprinkled with crushed oil, which shall have the measure of the 4th part of a hin, and wine for a libation, of the same measure. Truly, the other lamb you shall offer in the evening, according to the ritual of the morning oblation, and according to what we have said, as an odor of sweetness. It is a sacrifice to the Lord by a perpetual oblation among your generations, at the door of the tabernacle of the testimony before the Lord, where I resolved to speak to you. And there I will instruct the sons of Israel, and the altar shall be sanctified by my glory. I will also sanctify the tabernacle of the testimony with the altar, and Aaron with his sons, to exercise the priesthood for me. And I will live in the midst of the sons of Israel, and I will be their God. And they shall know that I am the Lord their God, who led them away from the land of Egypt, so that I might dwell among them. I am the Lord their God. Leviticus 21. The Lord also said to Moses, Speak to the priests, the sons of Aaron, and you shall say to them, Do not allow a priest to be contaminated by the death of his citizens, except only by his blood relatives and near relatives, that is, by a father or mother, or by a son or daughter, or also a brother, or a virgin sister, who is not married to a husband. But not even by the leader of his people shall he be contaminated. Neither shall they shave their head or their beard, and they shall not make incisions in their flesh. They shall be holy to their God, and they shall not pollute his name. For they offer the incense of the Lord and the bread of their God, and because of this they shall be holy. They shall not take as a wife a promiscuous woman, or a prostitute, or her who has been repudiated by her husband. For they are consecrated to their God. And they offer the bread of the presence. Therefore, let them be holy, for I also am holy, the Lord, who sanctifies them. If the daughter of a priest will have been taken into prostitution, and will have violated the name of her father, she shall be consumed by fire. The high priest, that is, the priest who is the greatest among his brothers, upon whose head the oil of anointing has been poured, and whose hands have been consecrated for the priesthood, and who has been vested with the holy vestments, he shall not expose his head, he shall not rend his vestments. And he shall not enter to any dead body whatsoever. Likewise, not even by his father or mother shall he be contaminated. Neither shall he exit from the holy places, lest he pollute the sanctuary of the Lord. For the oil of the holy anointing of his God is upon him. I am the Lord. He shall take a virgin as his wife. But a widow, or one who has been repudiated or defiled, or also a mistress, he shall not accept, but only a maiden from among his own people. He shall not mingle the stock of his family with the common people of his nation. For I am the Lord, who sanctifies him. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Say to Aaron, a man from your offspring, throughout their families, who has a blemish, shall not offer the bread to his God. Neither shall he approach to minister to him, if he is blind, if he is lame, if he is small, or large, or has a crooked nose. If his foot or hand is broken. If he has a bulging back or bleary eyes, or if he has a white spot in his eye, or a chronic scab, or a skin disease on his body, or a hernia. Anyone from the offspring of Aaron the priest, who has a blemish, shall not approach to offer sacrifices to the Lord, nor the bread to his God. Nevertheless, he shall eat from the loaves which are offered in the sanctuary. But even so, he may not enter within the veil, nor approach to the altar. For he has a blemish, and he must not contaminate my sanctuary. I am the Lord, who sanctifies them. Therefore, Moses spoke to Aaron, and to his sons, and to all of Israel, everything that had been commanded to him. Psalm 118 verses 121 through 176. I have accomplished judgment and justice. Do not hand me over to those who slander me. Uphold your servant in what is good, and do not allow the arrogant to slander me. My eyes have failed in your salvation and in the eloquence of your justice. Deal with your servant according to your mercy, and teach me your justifications. I am your servant. Give me understanding, so that I may know your testimonies. It is time to act, O Lord. They have dissipated your law. Therefore, I have loved your commandments beyond gold and topaz. Because of this, I was directed toward all your commandments. I held hatred for every iniquitous way. Your testimonies are wonderful. Therefore, my soul has been examined by them. The declaration of your words illuminates, and it gives understanding to little ones. I opened my mouth and drew breath, for I desired your commandments. Gaze upon me and be merciful to me, according to the judgment of those who love your name. Direct my steps according to your eloquence, and let no injustice rule over me. Redeem me from the slanders of men, so that I may keep your commandments. Make your face shine upon your servant, and teach me your justifications. My eyes have gushed like springs of water, because they have not kept your law. Sod. You are just, O Lord, and your judgment is right. You have commanded justice, your testimonies and your truth even more so. My zeal has caused me to pine away, because my enemies have forgotten your words. Your eloquence has been greatly inflamed, and your servant has loved it. I am young and treated with contempt. But I have not forgotten your justifications. Your justice is justice for all eternity, and your law is truth. Tribulation and anguish have found me. Your commandments are my meditation. Your testimonies are fairness unto eternity. Give me understanding, and I will live. CPH. I cried out with my whole heart. Heed me, O Lord. I will ask for your justifications. I cried out to you. Save me, so that I may keep your commandments. I arrived first in maturity, and so I cried out. For in your words I have hope beyond hope. My eyes preceded the dawn for you, so that I might meditate on your eloquence. Hear my voice according to your mercy, O Lord, and revive me according to your judgment. Those who persecute me have drawn near to iniquity, but they have been brought far from your law. You are near, O Lord, and all your ways are truth. I have known from the beginning about your testimonies, for you founded them in eternity. Res. See my humiliation and rescue me, for I have not forgotten your law. Judge my judgment and redeem me. Revive me because of your eloquence. Salvation is far from sinners, because they have not inquired about your justifications. Many are your mercies, O Lord. Enliven me according to your judgment. Many are those who persecute me and who trouble me. I have not turned away from your testimonies. I saw the prevaricators, and I pine away, for they have not kept your word. O Lord, see how I have loved your commandments. Revive me in your mercy. The beginning of your words is truth. All the judgments of your justice are for eternity. Sin. The leaders have persecuted me without cause, and my heart has been awed by your words. I will rejoice over your eloquence, like one who has found many spoils. I have held hatred for iniquity, and I have abhorred it. Yet I have loved your law. 7 times a day, I utter praise to you about the judgments of your justice. Those who love your law have great peace, and there is no scandal for them. I have waited for your salvation, O Lord, and I have loved your commandments. My soul has kept to your testimonies and has loved them exceedingly. I have served your commandments and your testimonies. For all my ways are before your sight. Tau. O Lord, let my supplication draw near in your sight. Grant understanding to me according to your eloquence. Let my petition enter before you. Rescue me according to your word. A hymn will burst forth from my lips, when you will teach me your justifications. My tongue will pronounce your eloquence. For all your commandments are fairness. Let it be your hand that saves me. For I have chosen your commandments. O Lord, I have longed for your salvation, and your law is my meditation. My soul will live and will praise you, and your judgments will assist me. I have gone astray like a sheep that is lost. Seek out your servant, for I have not forgotten your commandments.